Great.
That one's coming up, okay? And like I said, if you're already on the phone for these, you don't have to wait for the presentation. Go ahead and order. All right, we do have another Silver Eagle, but this one's different. This is the 30th anniversary. Came out last year.
This is last year's Proof Silver Eagle. As you can see, I told you the edition was lower this year, so it lowered by 2,000.
Yeah, you can see that.
That one's 5,800, okay, 5,830. I have a few of these remaining. So, and once again, same exact price. I told you it was $179.95.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about this one, and we have a couple of hundred of these remaining out of the 5,800. One of the reasons I have any of these left over, and we've already sold 7 of these. One of the reasons I have any of these left over is the government didn't release these till like November. See, normally we would have all year to sell them, and they're popular. We've had them where they've been released on January the 1st. Last year's release was the latest that I think they've ever released the Proof American Silver Eagle. Now, the other part about this that's incredibly important, just like this year's, but last year's had an additional special designation, 30th anniversary, right there on the edge. 30th anniversary, no other Proof American Silver Eagle has got any edge lettering on it whatsoever. Last year's, and as you can see, we've sold over just right about 5,000 of these. 4.9 star customer pick. 4.9 star customer pick. Now here's the other issue with this coin. Of all the completed year West Point Mint American Silver Eagles, and they've been making the Proof Silver Eagle at the West Point Mint basically since 2001. They've been putting the mint mark on it. They put the very first one on in 1995. This is the rarest of all of the regular issue West Point Mint American Silver Eagles. So not only do you have the designation of 30th anniversary, okay, that's the 30th anniversary, but then you have the rarity of this as a W-minted Proof Silver Eagle, period.
Okay.
Now, one last thing. When we released this so late in the year last year, we had a special opportunity to buy these. I only actually had, from when these were released until the end of the year, because of the way our coin shows fall, it only had one coin show.
Wow.
We only had one coin show, because we have no coin shows, generally speaking, in December. Okay, until New Year's Eve day. We have to get ready for the big day. We had a grading certificate, which we traditionally just do with the mint state coins, good for 4 coin gradings. We have on this one a grading certificate good for 2 free coin gradings for every one of these coins that you buy. So this is a what I think $36. They have this as a $21 value. Is that what it is? I forget what the value is on this. $34. Is that what it is? Oh, there it is. 19 bucks. Yeah.
Okay. 19. Okay, yeah.
$19 per coin. So that's $38. $19 per coin. So it's a $38 value plus this $50 in bonuses that come with this coin. And then you get the 30th anniversary. Now what I want to do is I want to spend just a second and talk to you about the 30th anniversary and why this coin is so incredibly special.
Okay.
That I think. The United States government has made 4 anniversary sets of American Silver Eagles. The 10th anniversary, a 20th anniversary, a 25th anniversary, and now the 30th anniversary. For the 10th, the 20th, and the 25th, they actually made special coin sets, okay? Special boxed sets and all these other big deals. For this, they didn't make a special set, but they made a special coin by doing a special feature, which is the edge lettering, which is a huge deal, okay? No other of the anniversary, the 10th, the 20th, or 25th anniversary Eagles are marked any way on the coin that they are 10th, 20th, or 25th anniversary American Silver Eagles. There's no marking on the coin whatsoever that designates it this. Now that 10th anniversary Eagle, the very first time they put a West Point or W mint mark on an American Silver Eagle, in this condition, the last one we sold was $30,000. Okay? For the 20th anniversary, which is a reverse proof coin, when we sell those here for about $1,000 when we can find them. And the 25th anniversary, again, a reverse proof American Silver Eagle, we sell those for about $1,200 to $1,400 right in there. So your choices for other anniversary American Silver Eagles are basically $30,000, $1,000, $1,500, or $179.95. Okay? Because these are my this is as $179.95 is my original issue price for this year. It was my original issue price for last year. You also happen to get the additional bonuses that you have here of the Red Oak presentation box and of the 2-coin grading certificate that you're going to have here. We have the final quantities of these. And like I said, the only reason I have a single solitary one of these remaining is the fact that it was released so late in the year. It was released so late in the year, we only really had one coin show in 2016 to sell these. Whereas the 2017, which we just debuted, of course, we've had, you know, today's the first day, but we'll have the whole year. Of course, we won't take that. I mean, it might only take 1 or 2 airings. And it's even a smaller edition. And this, even last year, the significance of this coin, the significance of 30th anniversary, the significance of the fact that it's the rarest West Point minted proof American Silver Eagle, even with that, 5830 is one of the lowest editions that we've done in any of the proof American Silver Eagles, let alone that is a 1-year only issue, the only proof American Eagle with a 30th anniversary edge lettering on it, or edge lettering of any kind, that's designated to be a anniversary American Silver Eagle. It would be 10th anniversary, 20th, 25th. The only other ones, those are only, you can only designate those or find those by given the fact that they have a special finish on them. They don't actually say on the coin itself, 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, 25th anniversary. So you had to know that was a special finish coin. This one right on the coin. And I don't know that they're going to do that again. It was a very difficult process, which was one of the reasons that it was not released until the very end of the year. And so tremendous opportunity for you to be able to pick up the final quantities on this. Like I said, with over 5,000 or right at 5,000 of these sold, 4.9-star customer pick. You're going to get the $50 in bonuses for every single one of these that you order. And like I said, so these are the final coins from 2016 that we've got that are 1-year only 30th anniversary issues that you're going to have right here. And on top of that, not even 30th anniversary. They're tremendously collectible just as a proof Silver Eagle. And as you can see, they're no more than what we sell just the regular, the 31st anniversary American Silver Eagles from this year, but their 30th anniversary as well. So spectacular opportunity. Plus you get the extra bonus grading certificate with this one as well. But we're down, unfortunately, to the very, very, very final quantities. That's right. And our clock is quickly running down. And, and you know, if it weren't for the fact, with as fast as the 2017 has been selling and it is right now, as we just presented it just a few moments ago, I can only imagine if the 2016, if the 30th anniversary had launched at the time that it normally does earlier in the year, how it would have we would never have this opportunity. We wouldn't. And with the fact of, at first I was thinking, well, it launched so late, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But as you're explaining, because it had a process that had never been done before on this coin, that's what took 7, 8, 9 extra months to be able to bring it out. But you have a chance to get the last several hundred that we have in quantity, and you can actually go ahead and get even this one on FlexPay, which we don't always have FlexPay on coins. So if you got the 2017, you fell in love with that and the newness of it, this is the specialness of the 30th anniversary. With FlexPay, go ahead